Do you want to know how to maintain an excellent credit rating? I'm going to tell you exactly how to get and maintain excellent credit. I'm Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and also helping you confidently maintain excellent credit. We're going to go over the 5 components that make up a credit score, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do in each area to have excellent credit. So let's get right into it with the number 1 component, which is payment history. Payment history is the most important because it's worth 35% of your overall score, and it's the highest percentage. So in order to maintain an excellent credit rating in this category, you want to make sure you never, ever pay bills late. Never. So you're going to have 0 late payments in order to maintain an excellent rating in this area. And I'm going to give you some suggestions as to what you need to do to make sure you maintain an excellent credit rating and pay all your bills on time. One would be set up bill reminders so you know when payments are going to be due and you're not surprised by payments that come and you don't have time to pay them on time. Number 2, set up auto pay so they're automatically debiting that money out of your account so you will never miss a payment. If that is not comfortable for you, if you don't want them just taking the money out of your account, you should set 2 times to pay your bills. One time at the beginning of the month, so maybe on the 1st, and maybe another time on the 15th. So the 1st, you'll get any bills that are due in those first 2 weeks of the month. And if you sit down again on the 15th, you'll be able to pay any bills that are due toward the end of the month. But if you make a habit of paying your bills at those 2 intervals, the 1st of the month and the 15th, you should never be paying anything late. And what they're looking for when they consider late is 30 days past the due date. Most companies don't report your payment as late until it's 30 days past the initial due date. So number 1, pay on time, but even if you miss it by a few days, they may not report it until 30 days later. So you still can, it still should not impact your credit. But pay everything on time, because once you have a 30-day late or a 60-day late, it will drastically impact your credit score. Now, other things that you can do. So say in the past that you've paid bills late or haven't paid bills at all and you have them in collections. There are a few things that you can do. You can dispute those errors. You can write goodwill letters to get those deleted off of your credit, or you can pay for delete. I'm not going to get into this right now, but I made a full credit video on how to maintain an 800 credit score or higher, and it'll tell you how to fix some of these things. Plus, I'll put some links in the description. So now that we know what we need to do, most importantly, pay bills on time, number 2 is making sure that you are not using all of your available credit. Okay? You want to make sure that you are not using all of your available credit. So this is the 30% amount owed. So if you are going to maintain an excellent credit rating, you want to make sure that you're not using more than 10% of your available credit. No more than 10%, because after that, 11 to 30% is good, 31 to 60% is average, and then 61 to 100 is below average. If you want to maintain excellent credit, you're going to make sure that you are not using more than 10% of your available credit. So let's give you an example. If you have $10,000 in available credit, say you have about 2 credit cards with $5,000 balances or $5,000 limits, and you want to make sure that you don't owe or you don't charge more than $1,000. That'll give you 10% or less. Say you owe more than the 10%, you want to start at least getting into this area, 11 to 30. That'll give you good credit. And then $6,000 or less would give you average. If you're in this range where you've charged 61 to 100% of your available credit, your credit score is not going to be that good because you're using the majority of your available credit. So if you want excellent credit, you need to start paying your debt off until you get to 10% or below of your available credit. Now, we've gone over 65% of what makes up your credit score. Now, if you're looking to monitor your credit, I recommend that you use something like Credit Wise. It's absolutely free. A lot of people, I've done a full video on the best credit monitoring sites. A lot of people like MyFICO, but there are a lot of free options that you have access to. So I do recommend that you use one of the free credit monitoring sites to monitor your credit and to improve your credit, because you need to know what it is in order to improve upon it. And I also recommend that you always, at least once a year, get a copy of your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. It is absolutely free, and I'll put a link below for that as well, so you know exactly what's being reported to the credit bureaus. Let's go over the last and final components of your credit score. They are your length of credit, new credit and inquiries, and your credit mix. So let's start with the length of credit. That's 15% of your score, is how long have you had credit. And this is a little bit difficult because you can't just age, you can't make you older and have credit for longer. But for excellent credit, generally speaking, people have credit for 25 years or more. However, if you're doing well in those other two categories, if you're doing really well in paying your bills on time and making sure you're not using a lot of your available credit, you can still have an excellent score. So it'll be excellent, excellent, good, excellent. It'll still average out to excellent. So 25 years or more, excellent. 8 to 24 years, good. 3 to 7 years, average. 0 to 2 years, below average. So when you're just starting out, you can still have good or very good credit, but as your credit history grows, then you can move up to having an excellent rating in this area. But again, it's only worth 15% of your score, so overall, you can still have excellent credit. Now, you want to make sure that as you pay off your accounts, you leave them open, because you want to make sure you maintain this length of credit. Closing your accounts could result in a lower credit score, because instead of having the years, you'll lose some of that time that you've had that card, and that'll get you in like a good or average category. So make sure when you're paying off debt, don't close the account, just leave it open. And then something you can do, you can try to get added to somebody who has good credit. Try to get added as an authorized user on their accounts, and that could add to the length of your credit history. All right, let's go to our last two, and the ones that are worth the least. These are worth both 10% each. So one is new credit and inquiries on your credit account. So if you want to maintain excellent credit, you don't want to open that many new accounts. So 0 to 2 for every 2 years is considered excellent. 3 to 4 accounts is good. 5 to 6 accounts, average. 7 or more is below average. So again, if you want to be excellent, you're not going to have that many new accounts that you open. And you also want to avoid so many inquiries on your credit as well. Now, when you are shopping for things like auto loans and mortgages, if you shop around, so you have multiple people pull your credit trying to see which one would be the best to go with, it only counts as one inquiry as long as you do it within a 14-day period. You can find that some people say 30 days, but also some sites say 14 days. So to be on the safe side, go ahead and when you're shopping for a mortgage or you're shopping for an auto loan, make sure that you're keeping those inquiries within a 14-day period, and it only impacts your credit score one time. So just make sure you're mindful of that. And then, of course, that counts for mortgages and for cars. So I don't want you, a lot of people avoid shopping around because they want to avoid those inquiries, but the credit model allows for rate shopping. So make sure that you are rate shopping definitely for your mortgage. It makes a big difference on what rate you will get if you don't shop around. Now, lastly, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. We're going to go to credit mix. So there are two types of credit. You have installment credit and you have revolving credit. Installment credit are things like student loans, mortgages, auto loans. They have a specific amount that has been borrowed, and then you're paying with a specific date that that would be paid off. So those are considered installment debt. And then you have revolving debt like credit cards. So you have credit card debt that basically you have a limit, but once you charge it and pay it off, you still have that limit. So it's not a specific amount of payments you need to make before you pay it off. So that's revolving debt. And that's a credit mix that the credit bureaus are looking for. They're looking for an installment debt usually, and probably at least one revolving debt. I don't recommend, because it's a low category, I don't want you to just be taking out debt just to say, okay, I have a credit mix. But if you have at least one or two in these categories, you should be fine as far as a credit mix is concerned. But again, it's good to get, sometimes when you pay off your auto loan, you lose out on one of these mixes, and your credit score may decrease a little bit. However, it's much better for you, especially if you're trying to buy a house, not to have car loan debt, because that's going to impact your debt to income ratio, and I have a video for that too. So I don't want you to be afraid to pay off some of those big debts, be it student loans or car debt, because overall you'll be in a better place financially if that debt is paid off, and you can still have excellent credit. So I hope this was helpful for you to know exactly how you can get and maintain excellent credit. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.